What is happening, y'all? It is a wild day. We are back for another episode of Foodies and Friends on Fox 26. Thank you so much for joining us. I am with my friend, Chef. Now say your first name.
Herman
Mosquera. We
you.
are at Wild on Westheimer.
Wild on Westheimer, yeah.
Pretty appropriate.
Very appropriate.
Things get a little wild on
Montrose.
Westheimer.
Always.
We're in Montrose. This is their first time participating in Houston Restaurant Weeks, but you are not a stranger to Houston Restaurant Weeks. We're going to talk to Chef Herman. He's been doing it for many years, actually, back to 2009. Lots of fun stories. And now he's got an incredible new menu for your first time. Let's go right to the foodie cam.
Absolutely.
And talk about this incredibly valuable $39 dinner. Wait until you guys see these choices. Oh my goodness.
Ooh,
Chef,
I like that one.
We've got a lot going on here. So first of all, what are we looking at?
Here is my interpretation of a Texas cornbread, and I've put it in a format of a cupcake. And the reason for that, because there's an inside gooey, creamy corn and honey pickled jalapeno. Then on top, I char some Hatch chili cheddar. Then we do a nice long stewed brisket chili and some more cream of corn. You can never go wrong with that. And a nice whipped cream cheese on top. It's beautiful.
I love it. You're staying with the wild theme. Is that the culture, the theme of the restaurant Wild? Like maybe doing things a little bit out of the box, a little bit different, maybe wild. That's okay.
That's okay. That was actually the starting point. What actually attracted me to Wild was the opportunity to be wild and do different things. And have the opportunity to explore all formats and venues, especially with the drinks.
Wait a minute. I didn't see this on the screen. Hold on.
Yes. Look
It's
at that.
glowing. Wait, why is it glowing, Chef?
We use a really cool chemical. No, I'm kidding. We don't. We have this really wonderful light on the bottom, actually, that illuminates the
it's the light. How clever. How is it lit up? It's actually just a light. That is so clever. I haven't seen anyone doing things like this.
You know, Mo, our beverage director, he's very, very whimsical, and I love working with him. That's why, the experience that we're about to bring you for HRW is going to be.
Yes. Ooh, talk about photos. These make for great photos with your dishes.
We love, not only do we create dishes to look good and the drinks to look good, but a lot of thought goes into it.
Yeah, that's very tasty. Yeah. And I just want to get this up a little bit closer and I love how you said cupcake, by the way, because it's such a tasty word, right? Like it's in a very inviting word.
It is.
It's like you definitely want to eat it no matter what it looks like or what it tastes like.
We all love cupcakes. If we had a vending machine here.
I 100% love cupcakes, but this is so cute, Chef.
And here's the fun thing with the cornmeal using here. So it's actually an organic heirloom cornmeal. So it's actually pink. And so it's not a bright yellow in there. It's actually a nice kind of a magenta hue in there.
On the inside. Should I go ahead and open it up?
Absolutely.
Is it going to look good?
Yeah. And then once you kind of break it open, you'll see what I was talking about, the creamy corn, the pickled red. Oh,
break it open here.
There
I'm not doing a very good job.
That's okay.
Yeah, no, it's
there. It is
pretty good. Beautiful. All right, I'm going in.
And if you can smell the cheddar.
Mm-hmm.
I'm all about the cheddar. I love a good cheddar.
Chef, this is incredible.
Thank you.
I mean, this is an appetizer.
Yes.
On your regular menu. Excellent. All right, foodie cam. Next item while I eat.
Yeah, no, absolutely. This is good.
Here we go.
Oh,
what are we looking at, Chef?
This beauty right here. I love char siu, Chinese barbecue. And here we decided to do it with chicken. And it's about a 12-hour marinade with a special blend. Chinese 5 spice is the key to a good char siu. Then from there, traditionally, it's a honey base, and there is red food coloring, but instead I use beet. And that's what gives us that nice red hue, is a beet honey glaze that we base char siu in.
And healthier, too.
Absolutely. And then we have a beautiful duck sauce made with, so duck sauce has no duck in it. It's actually made with apricots. So it's actually an apricot sauce that we glaze with. And then we have some crunchy wontons and some beautiful Mizuna greens around it.
There's a beautiful blue drink there, but I want to tell you a funny story about duck sauce. As a kid, you have you go to restaurant and you can get duck sauce. You have an egg roll or
the takeout.
Whatever.
Classic.
Duck sauce. And you don't really think about what you're eating, and then you get to a certain age where you realize that the word actually has meaning. So there was a slightly traumatic period when I was around 12 or 13 where I seriously thought I had been ingesting liquid duck that entire time. And I would, there were some tears, you know, there was some panic.
I could feel that.
In the household, you know, my mom had to.
What have you been doing, Mom?
Yes, there was a lot of betrayal, you know, like seriously, I'm like, what are we doing?
I trusted this packet and
you know, we had a lot of talks about this this stuff back in the day.
Well, speaking of trust, now we have this beautiful blue cocktail.
Beautiful. Yeah.
So what makes this? So we use blue spirulina, inspired by our classic Sonic. Love the ocean water.
Oh, cute!
Yeah. Yes. So when you sip this, you're gonna be like, "Am I drinking a Sonic drink?"
Oh.
No, this is a beautiful house-made ocean water.
Beautiful.
Sea salt tincture, beautiful spirulina, coconut.
Chef, I love the coconut. It's the perfect amount. It's not overpowering. It's just like on the tip, and it's like, yeah.
It really takes you there. It takes you there.
These are excellent. Oh my goodness. I'm so glad that these are going to be able to go along with your HRW menu because it complements so nicely. All right, Foodie Cam. Next on the Foodie Cam, what are we looking at? Oh my goodness.
So we've been messing around with brisket for the past year, smoking and smoking and smoking.
Messing around with brisket.
Meat, not anything else.
You know, that's a good thing to be doing, Chef. All right.
Our free time. And so I really want to highlight the burnt ends and turn it into a whiskey onion jam.
Because that is a trend these days. Or is it still a trend? I know it was kind of a trend a few years ago.
Well, this is kind of the reason why I created it. We have now Wild Wednesday, so we feature a whiskey that's rare at cost. And so I was inspired by the whiskey, the barbecue, kind of putting it together in onion jam. And then we make bread in house. So I have to feature the bread.
Wow.
So this is a Japanese milk bread that it's actually oat milk based. We toast it beautifully, and then we lay the jam on top.
You toast it beautifully.
The only way to do it. The only way to do it.
You toast it beautifully. Toast it beautifully.
I love the texture.
I would like to try this beautifully toasted because I saw this when we were. Oh yes, there it is. Ooh.
Once you get the crunch, you can see why I say beautifully.
Oh my goodness.
I like to marvel when I take it out of the oven. Like, wow.
Hold on.
You
know what's beautiful about this? These little baby carrots.
Oh yeah.
That are shaped to be actual carrots. If you guys can see this.
Well, those are actually tiny vegetables. Real tiny baby carrots.
They are real tiny. So you didn't slice them to be that way.
Well, I did cut them in half.
Yeah.
And they are literally that size.
That is, I mean, that's beautiful.
I love playing with textures and imagination, like especially the cupcake. You're thinking something sweet, but you get something savory.
No, and I like that because I think what it does, and you can maybe speak a little bit to this as your time in Houston. We want to get a little bit to who you are, but sometimes diners need a little encouragement to get over the hump to try something, and the name can help them a little bit. Yep.
The brisket to me was the bridge to allow you to feel comfortable to taste the dish.
Yeah.
Without being too, that's a little too weird for me.
Oh,
nice sweetness.
Oh,
the buttery from the toast, the crunch, a little fresh from the carrots.
Yes, that is excellent. All right, so Chef, tell us a little bit about you. You've been in Houston for how long?
Oh wow, like I said, since 2009. Rebels Green is what brought me here.
Rebels Green.
Really working originally first with green certified restaurants was really exciting, something different for me and Houston.
Yep.
Doing gluten-free food, dairy-free food.
Yep.
And for me as a chef, it was an opportunity to learn and explore something. I already enjoyed Mediterranean cuisine and Spanish cuisine. And then that already kind of lends itself to be naturally gluten-free, dairy-free. Of course, there's dairy in there, but there's a lot of leeway to that. And then from that, Houston has been very kind to me, allowing me to just explore and be creative. My mind originally was studying engineering, and I realized that wasn't for me.
Yes.
Took a break and found myself in the kitchen.
Found yourself, instead of building buildings or designing a structure, now you're building creations in the kitchen. So
I do, and what I do take from that is, the structure.
Because it is a science, really. I mean, you are scientists in the kitchen because you're dealing with measurements, temperatures, length of time of cooking, and that really requires a lot of precision. That probably that engineering skill set really helps with.
That's what I love.
Yeah.
And then the artistry. And, as a child, I grew up with a lot of art around me. And that's, I think, what really helped me bridge those two strengths into what now is me as a chef.
That makes a lot of sense because what we've seen from your dishes, they are very beautifully crafted.
Thank you.
All right, Foodie Cam, here we go. These dishes really, I can see your personality in these dishes. I like it.
Thank you.
Very.
I'm glad they're speaking to you.
Very creative they are, especially this one, Chef.
Gotta love a good steak, you know. And as time has gone by, definitely have cooked a lot of steaks and learned kind of the technique to really cook the best steak. It starts with a pan. Obviously, great quality meat, but you have to have a pan, an amazing pan.
Good pan. What kind of pan?
We use a Smithy's cast iron pan. So from South Carolina, heirloom made pans, beautiful.
Yep.
And with this, we marinate the steak for 12 hours, give it a nice salt rub, let it come to room temperature, and then give it a really hard sear. Yes, we can do it sous vide, but I really like to show the beauty of just classic technique. And this is that exactly. So on the bottom we have the pave, the potato, which is really thin layered potatoes, roasted, baked, boom.
Now, when you say that and I want to stay on this shot on the meat here, when you say that it starts with the pan, so if I'm in the kitchen and I want to make the steak as well as you just described it, so I've got a good pan, then what's my next step? Do I make sure to get it heated up all the way to a certain temperature?
Yes, especially when using cast iron pans, you want to preheat. That's not something you want to go on to full blast right away.
Okay.
Go low, medium low, let it work.
Oh,
10,
okay.
15
I would just go on full blast right away, but that's not the right way. Okay, I'm doing it wrong. All right, so do it slowly and turn up the temperature slowly, and then don't put the meat on until you're at your peak temperature.
You're at your peak temperature.
Okay.
Then you allow all the moisture that's about to be released from the meat to evaporate. The moment the pan's not hot enough,
yes,
it will start to create a pool, or if it's too hot, it'll start to burn.
Okay.
So there is a science that, you know, of like tweak the right moment, the right amount of time.
And then how do you know how long to keep the steak on? I guess it depends on how you're trying to cook it.
Funny way, there's something that I learned a long time ago as a young cook, you know, putting your fingers together, you know, medium rare, well done.
Oh.
And so once you kind of touch the steak and get that feel for it, you realize that, okay, that's the temperature. And you actually want to cook it a little bit under, because you have carryover temperature.
Interesting. All right, so good tips. So making sure we have a good pan, making sure that we are heating the pan before we put the meat on it. Correct. And then getting our fingers used to those 3 temperatures in order to cook. All right, so
and time.
Yeah, and time.
Yeah, that's the science part of it. Understanding that I turned this heater on for 2 minutes. I've been cooking for 5 minutes.
Yeah.
And then that repetition, that constant repetition, gives you the ability to finite that tool and that cooking technique. So you're at home and you know, like, oh, I know that takes me 6 minutes. I can go walk around, do this, and come right back, flip it, and you're using time.
Yeah, absolutely. I love that. We love sharing tips from chefs because, you know, we do have a lot of very enthusiastic folks in the kitchen and people who watch. All right, foodie. Oh, wait, hold on. I do want to take a bite of this.
I love questions too. I love questions.
Yeah, all right.
And this one we did to a nice medium.
Yeah, so medium. Oh, yes.
And then the pois sauce, you know, so this is steak à pois. I mean that we take the juices from the meat with cognac, shallots, reduce it down, and do a little heavy cream action and do a little glaze on top.
I love this.
And the potatoes, the thin layer was so the fun way to do these is shaving them into heavy cream so they don't oxidize as you slice them and layer them down.
I love that. All right, Foodie Cam. Next, here we go. And this is on the Wild Montrose $39 HRW menu. It's their very first time participating in Houston Restaurant Weeks, which starts next Thursday, of course, August 1st. Runs through September 2nd. I know you're excited.
I'm excited.
You're back in the saddle. You took a little break, right? For a few
years. Had time off, been on sidelines watching the game.
Time to get back in the game, baby.
For me, all right. Coach.
Chef, what are we looking at here?
This right here, when we first opened up Montrose, we had a big whole Thai style of crispy fish. So this is my ode to an old school dish that we started off with a little more tweaks, you know, to make it a little more fun. And really what I want to highlight here is the crispiness of that batter that we're using. So that's science again at play with how we aerated, the type of alcohol we use for the reaction, and then from there the marinade, a house-made kimchi paste, Thai basil, Thai chilies, a little bit of kaffir lime leaf, lemongrass.
You're saying all the right things.
Last but not least,
made kimchi paste. Like you're not cheating at all.
Oh no.
Like you're not just ordering something, you're not going down the street. You're doing it the hard way.
The fun way.
The fun way. No, and it's what's interesting. I love dishes like this. They're so creative. We're actually seeing modifications, like you said, on these dishes. You're putting your own spin. I love how you're incorporating old favorites, paying respect, keeping them alive. The legacy of those dishes is important, you know?
People love that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And I love that they love it.
Yeah.
That's what keeps me inspired to bring it back.
You know, I always love asking chefs, what's your late night like go to? And it doesn't have to be like a well-known late night. It could be Taco Cabana. We don't judge here. We are, you know, very, very, but what's your, you know, 1:30 in the morning.
1:30 in the morning.
Kind of like drive through, you know, don't be embarrassed.
I know I'm not gonna be embarrassed. It's more, you know, I'm more like the oddball. The reason being that I don't have any of those places because I eat really clean. And when I do eat something at night and it's here, because I'm usually here at 1:30 a.m., it's gonna be right now orange watermelon, because that's something we have in house, or a mango.
Like a singular ingredient.
Yes. I eat very clean.
You're jealous, chef. You're too good. Too good. We're gonna swing through the Whataburger drive-thru. We're gonna.
Although, no offense to that,
I'm gonna kidnap you.
How
to get here at 1:30? You're not gonna let you go home. Tell your wife.
And to eat a double.
Like, I'm sorry, I cannot leave. I gotta go get a cheeseburger.
Oh my gosh.
No, it's not happening.
Yeah, that happened. No one's gonna get mad. So that is orange watermelon, English cucumbers,
love that.
Thai basil, super fresh, super light.
I can taste everything. I love that, and I love how cute and creative that is.
Thank you.
Now you mentioned the crispiness. So talk about the crispiness. What is the outside of this made of?
So the secret, or what this is based out of, is going to be a Thai beer. Nature beer, excuse me, with 151. So you need a high proof alcohol, a nice yeast forward kind of base to it, and I use a mixture of flour starch. And that right there, when I put into an ISI charger and I add CO2 to it, it gives you a lot more bubbles.
I add CO2 to it. The little engineer over here, the mad scientist. No, because there's more chefs with like engineering, architect, graphic design backgrounds than you would think, right? I mean, all of those skill sets really come into play.
And those who didn't even study that are just in for passion, I respect and I applaud them, because it's a beautiful art. The top, we have a caramelized fish sauce. The bottom is, so the rice, I love rice. This right here is a sticky rice that we actually marinate in watermelon juice.
I've never heard of sticky rice marinated in watermelon juice. I did not know that was a thing. Oh my goodness.
It's a thing.
Watermelon juice is one of my all-time favorite drinks. Yes.
And that is, to me, the secret to making a really flavorful, tasty, sticky rice.
What else can you marinate in watermelon juice, chef? Is there, and when you say you marinate it, you mean like you cook it and then you let it sit? Like you cook it in water and then you let it sit?
So the raw rice soaks in watermelon juice.
Wow.
Because sticky rice, Thai specifically, needs to be soaked before you actually steam it. Because this one you don't cook in a pot. You actually cook over steam.
Okay.
And the orange watermelon, if you get red watermelon, you get more of a red hue in the rice. And since this was orange, it's kind of a light, whitish color. But it adds a lot of that melon flavor to it once you really go into it.
What else could I marinate in watermelon juice?
That would be good. I like to do chicken with lemongrass.
Never heard of this before.
Kimchi paste, absolutely. That's actually one of my little fun meals. So I eat more during the daytime, and that's the kind of stuff I like to make for myself. I like to mess around with my marinades, my sauces. We mess around with the chicken, steaks.
Mess around with brisket. We mess around with stuff over here.
We mess around with stuff over here.
It gets a little wild. I'm so impressed. This is a beautiful dish. I bet this is a very popular dish for you guys.
It is. Yeah. It is. And now that the watermelon's in season,
perfect timing. All right, let's take a look at the Houston Restaurant Week's menus for Wild on Westheimer. I am giving them a new name, y'all. They're Wild Montrose, but they are Wild on Westheimer.
We'll take it.
Let's go through your first course, chef.
Okay.
So you got your brisket onion jam with the milk bread, caramelized onion, 12-hour smoked brisket served with the Japanese milk bread, and you're making all of that stuff.
Correct.
Yeah, and that's on your menu year-round, or which one of these
items? It's on the menu now.
Yes.
And as we're going into the fall season, you're going to see some of these just stay and transition into the new menu we're going to put out.
That's great. You are an HRW veteran, so you know how to do that, and that a lot of restaurants use HRW as a way to, showcase their best sellers, get a lot of new faces in the door, but at the same time, because they're seeing so many new faces, they get to try a new dish, and a lot of times it sticks. A lot of times you find a new fan favorite that you maybe didn't know about.
Exactly. That's what we want to see is, how people are going to react to our dishes and if they're good enough to stay.
Yep. All right, here we move on to your second course. You want to describe one of those dishes for us?
Yes. So the one that we just talked about right now was the Thai fried fish. It's going to be a battered mahi-mahi served with a caramelized fish sauce that we drizzled on top, the Thai cucumber salad that you saw laid out with the watermelon sticky rice underneath.
And, I love you do it. It's a huge piece. It's a big, it looks kind of like a whole fish, really. And it's a nice introduction for somebody who maybe hasn't had a dish like that previously.
Correct.
And you're making it in a way that it looks really delicious and very tasty. Chef, talk about the importance of participating in Houston Restaurant Week, supporting the Houston Food Bank, and why that's important for you guys, and what it's doing for your staff and everything.
It's really important with the food bank to really, as a restaurant, we deal with food, and it's good to plug in where food is being given to those in need. And that's how we're happy and more than honored to be able to provide that opportunity.
Yeah.
So thank you for that.
Yeah, no, thank you.
And as you mentioned, as a veteran, for many years also did Taste of NFL, which still gives a lot of money to food banks around the nation.
Yeah.
So I'm very happy to still be involved and continue to participate and give.
Yeah, it's really it's really kind of a special, like you said, privilege and legacy. But you guys are, not on the front lines, but you guys are making food for people, and then knowing that the food insecurity issue here in Houston is so widespread, it must feel a little bit different knowing that you're feeding people. There's that many people that are needing help, but you're actually feeding them too during Houston Restaurant Week.
100%. And that's me wanting to give these plates everything that I can as a chef.
Yep.
To create that opportunity to be able to give, because that is what we want to do.
Now, do you guys ever do any fun events? Like, do you have any wine dinners or any special events coming up that we can shout out?
We do, actually. Yep. I'm glad you asked. We are actually about to do a collab with a DR Delicacy, September 5th.
Oh, Dr. Delicacy, the truffle lady.
We're about to have a party.
Roeder. Very good.
So we're going to do a party. Mo and I are going to create some special caviar truffle dishes and just some fun stuff to showcase DR Delicacy and what they have to offer. And also wild too, showing that, it doesn't need to be super high end. It can be wild.
That's awesome. And so where can folks get information about that?
On their website, we're about after mid-month of August, you'll start to see a lot of that information come out.
Excellent. All right, you guys, remember, Houston Restaurant Week starts next week, August 1st. And you might want to check out the menu here at Wild on Westheimer, Wild Montrose. We're renaming them because it is Wild on Westheimer. Very first time, but not a first-time participant. Check out HoustonRestaurantWeeks.com for about 400 participating restaurants, all supporting the Houston Food Bank. I know back in the day when you joined, there was maybe about 100 or something.
Yeah, well, there was like 40 and then 50 and 60, and then it started to go. And I remember when it started to be more than a week.
Yeah.
To the month.
He remembers when it was just a week. All right, you guys. We are wrapping. That does it. We will see you guys on another episode of Foodies and Friends on Fox 26. I am Katie Stone. This is Chef Herman.
Thank you.
We'll see you guys next time. Bye. Cheers.